Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Thank you guys for joining us today for our V44 New Features webinar. So this will be kind of a live demonstration, and then we'll have some Q&A kind of midway through and then toward the end. So our agenda is we're gonna do some introductions from our end real quick. We're gonna walk through some the new features. Basically, it includes some stuff outside of V44 as well. We have a few things from V43. And we just had a V45 release yesterday, so we're going to show you guys those things as well. And then we've got some quality of life updates also, and then we'll have some Q&A, like I said, at the end of this. So I can go ahead and introduce myself. So I'm Doug Willits. I manage part of the customer success team here at ComboCurve. I've been here for about 5 years. I spent some of my career working for a large operator, and then spent most of my career working for a smaller kind of reserves certification shop here in Oklahoma City. And then I'll let Brody introduce himself.
Brody Lee, been with ComboCurve over 4.5 years now. Worked with a lot of our clients, small and large operators, banks, auditors, kind of across the board in the industry who have worked with us. Petroleum engineer by background myself, and been with ComboCurve a long time, done a lot of different workflows. So any questions that come up as I go through, or me, Doug, and myself go through the updates, if there's anything a little more specific to your workflows that this will relate to, and you want to ask those questions, I'm happy to answer those on that facet. Okay, so a couple things. I'm going to start us off kind of in the forecasting and diagnostics today, and walk us through some of that. Doug's then going to walk us through some of the economics. I'll walk us through a couple quality of life updates as well. But first things first, couple things here on the main forecasting page, our comparison view that we have had for quite some time now. You still have that, but what we've done is we've gone ahead and added that editing button. So previously, when you jumped into your comparison here, that editing button, our modular forecasting, would go away. You can now jump into the comparison, and then you can look at these wells, side by side, do your comparison views, and jump right into that editing without having to toggle that back and forth, on and off. Jump right into your editing with this comparison toggled on right here. And then let me go ahead and jump back just to our forecast view here. Next thing within the modular forecasting, couple things in here. One thing is there has been a couple of new keyboard shortcuts added. So if you scroll through this, we've added a handful of new things in this keyboard shortcut. It is going to be the switching between phases, resolutions, color, closing the modular forecasting, just a couple of simple things in here to add a few more shortcuts for you guys to use that are utilizing the manual editing keyboard shortcut functionality. And then as well, there's going to be well indexing in here as well for going through the modular forecasting and scrolling through and adjusting that well list as you're going through making edits. You'll have some indexing to go through with this as well. And then most of the rest of the updates that we've done recently is our diagnostics. So diagnostics 2.0, we've done a big overhaul here compared to our previous diagnostics. Let me actually just jump to this one I have loaded. So diagnostics 2.0, we've made a big revamp to the diagnostics page itself. Added a lot of features here. Obviously bringing over, dragging and dropping these widgets, having a customized dashboard. In this case, this is one that I have customized myself. I'm looking at a gas phase here. I have some of the specific charts that I like to just visualize on a day-to-day. And really the workflow add is the customization that we've done with the diagnostics 2.0, the charts you can bring across, the customization you can do with some of the color by functionality, and some of the more recent updates since we've released this to make this just a more useful, user-friendly tool is a couple things. One thing is going to be this time series chart. So going in, lasso selecting, shift and lasso select a well set, whether you're on any of these charts, is going to allow you to then aggregate that well set that you have selected down here in this time series plot. And then with that, you can group this by different header aggregations. There's different aggregations you can do within that selection. You can have it just show you what you have selected and just aggregate that, for example, as well. So I can make a selection, it'll show me an aggregation here. And then we've also improved some of this recently, which is going to be, you can now click and drag and drop this axis. Before we just had the chart kind of canned the way it was here. So you can click and drag and drop. We've also added the functionality of actually coming and customizing and adjusting the X and Y axis. So we added the log scale there. You can now throw that onto a log scale. You have your mins, your maxes that you can adjust, your start and end date. So you can adjust that X axis as well. And then with those aggregations that we have there, you are also going to be able to export those, mass export those aggregations that I was just showing, for example, if you have those aggregations built. And then as well as jumping in to, let's see what else. Yes, also coming up to this metrics manager, we've made some improvements here. So in the time series, we've added some of the well count metrics that you can visualize in there as well. So a handful of them that you can now toggle on and off, visualize the actual well count through time as well in those aggregations. Also on this aggregation piece coming in here, building out there's a custom header functionality in all of this as well now, whether you're in the headers here and across the board, being able to use project custom headers. You can now pull those across and utilize these in the diagnostics. And then the aggregating piece itself here coming in, you have your different sums. You can customize headers and group those and have those aggregations built out, customized. And then for the most part, that is going to be most of the stuff, in terms of adjustments, updates that we've made for the diagnostics, some of the forecasting improvements we've made. We've been focusing heavily on improving this Diagnostics 2.0. And then, I'll take a quick pause before I jump into some quality of life updates on the economic side before I pass it off to Doug. But any specific questions related to these forecasting and diagnostics updates that we've made recently?
If we do get a question, we can come back to it. And you can post questions in the chat as we move along, and we can get to them whenever we, stop for the questions as well.
Cool. Yeah. So diagnostics is one of those things we've been focused on. We also have a handful of the economics scenario updates to showcase to you guys today. So I'll dive into a couple of those things. And some of these are just going to be some quality of life updates that we've made, things to make things a little bit easier, things that were maybe a little bit fidgety before, that we've made some adjustments to, made it a little bit easier to just do the day-to-day workflow here in the economics. One thing, Brody, if you, go ahead.
Before you get too deep in that, I missed a question. Somebody asked, how do I roll up from a forecast?
Roll up from a forecast? Yep. So basically, jumping back into here, this is going to be primarily the new way to generate those roll-ups in the forecasting tool. So essentially, you could come into here, into your diagnostics. There's going to be this lasso selecting that will grab anything that you want to roll up. You can also come up here. Let's say if you have a specific filter that you want to filter down to first, you can just filter down to a subset and take that whole thing and aggregate that into your roll up. And then as well as this time series plot here is also going to have some of those aggregations you can do. So you can aggregate based on a filters, for example, or your selection, headers as well. So you can actually grab, specific header aggregations and roll them up that way based on, any of those headers that you might want to pull across. And then you can group them and pick specific ones, roll those up. And then this is going to be your roll up now. So a couple things over here in the economics before I pass it off to Doug. One thing previously is coming in here and doing a row grouping, for example. So if you wanted to group your economics by any of these different headers that you have available to group from, you can absolutely do that. You have your groups, then you can actually expand these. Maybe if you're trying to apply, specific economic models to specific subsets of wells, this is going to allow you to do that, manage it a little bit better. One thing though is with anything running sensitivities, utilizing our qualifiers and our combos. If you were to go and change one of these qualifiers, it would collapse everything again. So if you had stuff expanded like this, and then you're trying to make some changes and rerun things, it would collapse everything. And then essentially it'll now not do that collapsing. So you saw before it bugged out on me there for a second that it'll actually show you everything there. And then once you change those qualifiers back and forth, it's not going to do this collapsing on you anymore. Everything is still going to be expanded for you to look at. Awesome. And then the other thing that we have is there is going to be warning reports now that we've optimized a little bit. So when you run your economics, there is, if for any reason, for example, you have, let's say like you missed some ownership assignments on some wells. Another thing we've added though is lookup tables. So for either embedded lookup tables or for those lookup tables, scenario lookup tables that you can create and apply your models accordingly. If you run the economics, there wasn't any kind of formal error report that it would tell you exactly if something's missing, for example. So now when you run your economics, it spits everything out. You will get a little kind of warning notification up here on the top right of the economics output. And that warning is either going to tell you, hey, you missed an ownership assumption, that well didn't run, or maybe if you have a lookup table that it's not actually capturing a specific well for some reason, not finding the header criteria you're trying to look up upon, we're going to now spit you out a little warning report that you can spit out in Excel. And it'll then tell you, hey, this well has a lookup table assigned, but we didn't find an assignment for this well. Go back and check the lookup table. So add a little bit more detail to your warning reports on running your economics there, whether it's with lookup tables or just maybe a well not running correctly. And then as well, you are going to have for lookup tables, it'll show you the actual model assigned. So if you have a lookup table set up in here, a scenario lookup table specifically, instead of having to go up here and export your rendered lookup table to make sure it's applying the right models, if you go into a well that has a lookup table applied, it is going to show you the exact model that it has selected from that lookup table. Or in this case, we have an embedded lookup table. This functionality has been here, but we're showing you those values. For our scenario lookup tables, we're going to at least show you the model applied so that you don't have to export that rendered lookup table anymore. All right, perfect. I will then pass it off to Doug. Unless there's any questions, I can go field some questions now while you want to pull stuff up.
Okay, can you guys see my screen? Ready?
Yes, looks good.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so first thing that I wanted to tell you about is that we've added 10 additional custom company date headers. We have a client that is trying to kind of replicate some of their economic CapEx models that they have in Aries, and they have a lot of different dates that are associated with those models to build our embedded lookup tables. And so you now have, instead of 10 custom company date headers, we have 20. So you'll see those at the company level here under your custom columns. Okay, so then next on my list is that we've now added data snaps into our embedded lookup tables. So I'll jump into one of these examples real quickly. So Brody kind of touched on these embedded lookup tables, but basically you build kind of a model like this, and then you can choose any of the values that you want to look up by. And so in this case, I built an expense model, and it's looking up by whoever the current operator is in this project. And so I have an oil variable cost, a fixed expense, a gas expense here. and it's going to go find whatever the current operator is, and then it provides values, based on what operator that is or what I put in this table. What we've added to these models are now the ability to do our data snaps. And so if you don't know what data snaps are, they're basically, if you're an Aries kind of user, they're at macros. So in this case, I'm looking up these values in this lookup table, but I went into the well header for each one of these wells and created a custom project header that was water disposal costs. So it's basically unique to each well. You can just click into any of these cells and you can say, okay, and then you can choose, a header, a company custom header, a project custom header, and then it'll list everything that you can choose from here. And then now, whenever I basically come up here and show values, for this specific well, it's looking at the well header and it comes up with this 75 cents right there. You don't just have to use the values here. You can, at macros for dates or time periods and things like that. So it allows you a lot more, flexibility and functionality with these embedded lookup tables to reference things that are in the actual header file for the well. So we added the data snaps in the embedded lookup tables for expenses. We also did for CapEx. And so I basically created a CapEx model that was kind of a workover CapEx. Let me group my wells like this. So I put, I've got, over 5,000 wells in this project, but I've put several hundred in clean out, artificial lift, and then refrac. And so under each of those that had the workover, I applied this workover CapEx. Sorry, that's my mouse. And so I built a model that's going to apply the appropriate, workover type and expenses based on that header that I created. So I've got a workover CapEx embedded lookup table, and then I'm having it look up the cost. So based on whether it's a clean out, a refrac, or an artificial lift. So it's looking up that cost. But then I also created a specific date header for these of when I wanted those workovers to take place. And so again, it's that data snaps which we just did in expenses where I'm saying, okay, go and use the lookup table to find these costs, but then go ahead and just look at the actual header under the workover date, header that I created for each well to come up with a specific date that I want this workover to take place. So again, there's a lot of different ways you could, use this, or, it just improves the functionality of these embedded lookup tables significantly, in my opinion. Okay, so that is it on the embedded lookup tables. Other than, I will say, if you haven't gone in and played around with the embedded lookup tables, we've got them in CapEx, differential, stream properties, expenses. We've got them, almost everywhere here. They can make your life a lot easier once you kind of learned how to use them. Reach out to us and we can walk you through in more detail on how to set things up, your first couple of times if you need help. Okay, so another thing that we've changed is whenever you run your scenario, if you have combos that you've saved, so whenever you're running sensitivities and you've built out a combo, now if you're copying a project or importing a scenario from another project, it will include those saved combos. So you don't have to recreate or reinvent the wheel every time that you do that. So that's pretty handy. And then we've also, for the conversion improvements, so whenever you're converting to Aries, so the Aries export right here, now our differential embedded lookup tables are supported in that export, so it will create those side files for Aries. And we also now will support the incremental economics exports to Aries. So if you've built any incremental cases in here, that basically creates that second line for a well. Now, whenever you export those to Aries, it'll export properly to where you can, it'll run and tie out with those incremental cases. We've added a new report. So in our reports, we've added this aggregate one-line report. So whenever you run your scenario and you choose your groupings under reports, now you can export a one line that is basically aggregating all of your values based on whatever setup that you have here. Okay, another great improvement that we've just added is in the pricing model or pricing models. So if you go to your pricing now, so under pricing, if I choose like strip pricing now we've got this comparison view. So basically what that does is it puts everything in a side-by-side view with your dates and everything and your prices side by side to each other. This makes it a lot easier if you're pasting price decks in here. You can just paste them all at once. So you can paste your gas and your oil all at once. So I'm really happy with that view. Okay, we will be deprecating the standard pricing view soon also. So just be aware of that. This is the old pricing view. So everything is going to now be in the advanced view. And then you just toggle this comparison view on or off. Okay. Next would be under the production taxes. Production taxes were the last kind of piece of the scenario module that we're still on the standard view, but we've added, put those, basically we call it our advanced view or the AG grid view. So now it's kind of in this tabular form here. Okay. Under ownerships and reversion, we added a new kind of functionality with our reversions. If you've used Aries, basically it's a rev own analog, but it rather than calculation reversions based off of gross or 100% or net, the same interest cash flows are calculated off of. Users can now specify what working interest in NRI is used to calculate the reversion dates for cash flow related reversions. So just be aware that we've added that. And then another thing that we've added that's pretty cool is whenever you do your single well econ. So if you just choose the money bag right here, give it just a moment. We've added these search bars. So now you can search for, if I'm looking for total investment or anything like that, I can search it here. And you can search by values as well. So it makes this a lot easier to kind of find whatever you're looking for. And then the last thing, or one of the last things that I will show you is we've just kind of released our scenario summary page. It's not turned on for everybody. We just want you guys to let us know if you're interested in testing it out, but it's definitely still in the beta version of this, but we can turn it on and off for people if they'd like to check it out. But basically, I've already got one that's kind of built. It's very similar to the new diagnostics where you have your widgets over here on the left. You have a scalar metrics table like we have in the diagnostics. You have a time series table down here. You can throw on, a multitude of things: tree maps, pie charts, bar charts, combinations, CDF, combo comparisons. You can throw a map on there. As you can see, there's some pretty cool stuff that we've added here. So again, this is in the beta version, but I mean, I think it's pretty awesome. So if you'd like to check it out, just let us know, and we can kind of go from there. The actual last thing that I will show you is we did develop a new forecasting method at the request of a couple of our larger clients that are working with some larger unconventional wells. So if you've ever heard of cut cum forecasting, basically, or it's ratio versus cumulative forecasting, it allows us to basically, you can forecast on total fluid, and then you can come up with kind of a water ratio forecast based on your total fluid stream. And so it's using the cumulative to back into a forecast for your oil and water here. So the actual rate forecasts here are kind of back calculated from this, increasing water cut over time. So it's pretty cool. If you guys have any unconventional or conventionals that you're working with and you'd like us to kind of show you how this works in a little bit more depth, please reach out and we can let you know or show it to you. But that is everything that I have. Please reach out and we can let you know or show it to you. But that is everything that I have. Now we can basically jump over to see if anybody has any questions, and we go from there. All right. Well, if you have questions outside of this that you remember later, you can definitely ping us. Reach out if you wanted to go through anything in more depth. But we really appreciate everybody being here.